Hey y'all, how y'all doing? So today I want to share with you, I'm calling this the Bayleaf Banishing spell. And before I, teach you the spell, which I know that's what y'all want, this is going to be a little bit more too about a lesson on how to work with your Book of Shadows or your grimoire, or for those of you who are practitioners of hoodoo who are following me, your receipt book. So just really quick, whether you call it your Book of Shadows, your grimoire, your receipt book, that is the book that you keep all your spells and rituals and magical information, correspondences, moon phases, things of that nature in it. And I have been practicing some form of witchcraft or hoodoo for over 30 years. So as you can imagine, I have had many such books, and I'm going to show you 3 of them right now before I show you the spell. And it's integral that I show you these books in order to show you the spell, to tell you how the spell came about. So first of all, I have this huge ass book right here. This is my main Book of Shadows that I have been maintaining for years and years and years and years and years. All this is a 3-ring, I'm not going to open it up, but all this is a 3-ring binder that I wrapped it in this faux leather on the inside and the outside, and I glued it on, but then I sewed it around to make it look all nice and neat, kind of like charmed. And then I glued this pentagram to the front of it, and maybe someday I'll do some more work on it. I'll show you this, and then I have like, there's like my cover page I made using pictures torn out of a magazine and coloring it. And I think I I made the words Book of Shadows by cutting letters out of the newspaper. And then there's, my book blessing. I know, let me get it up close because I know someone's going to just pause this and read it. So make it easier on you. And this one is set up like a book. All these tabs are different chapters. So like if I want to know about ritual, boom. If I want to know about meditation, boom. If I want to know about the Sabbats, if I want to know about Esbats, if I want to know about astrological correspondence, I have my tabs and I can go directly to that section. But anyway, this is my huge main Book of Shadows that I've been maintaining in some form for years and years and years and years. And then I have little things like this. This is a small little spiral bound book. It has 120 pages in it. And this is just a little bit more practical for when I need something. And this has this is a little bit more personal. It has spells and rituals in it and some information, just sort of like the Cliff Notes version of this, and interesting enough, if you follow my store on Etsy, which is 12th House Books, I created one of these, a handwritten Book of Shadows, and I tore 20 pages out of this, and I had 100 pages of this notebook. I sold it on my store, all handwritten, hand-drawn images. Let me see if I can give you an idea, a nice picture. Here's a cute little picture. I know y'all gonna freeze frame this too, so I'll just give you all that free spell. Cute little hand-drawn images in there. And this is just, like I said, more practical. And then I have this little book right here. I got this little notebook at the dollar store, and it has, hold on, I'll tell you, 119 pages in it. And so this book here, I think I told you in another video, during COVID, I got sent home, and for 2 months I sat home and I did not leave the house at the height of COVID. And I got bored. And I started rewatching Charmed on TNT because they were showing 2 or 3 episodes a day. And I got tired of reading. I got tired of other things I was doing. And I had this idea for a new project. And that new project was I wanted to create a Book of Shadows based on the idea that I was a witch living in the Charmed universe, but I had absolutely no connection to them. So I drew upon my real life events, things that happened to me, people I knew, and wrote about my life, creating a book of shadows, using the rules of the Charmed universe. And I edited anything I didn't like. For example, I didn't like the whole idea of white lighters and the elders. So, you know, you're not going to find out who my white lighter is in this book. And, you know, just to give you an example, I have an entry in this book on the tattooed warlock, and I gave him like a history and gave, you know, created a spell to vanquish him. And he was based on one of my first boyfriends, who was just, you know, the classic tattooed love boy, bad boy, who turned out to be just a completely awful person, but he was cute, and I forgave him, and he ruined part of my life. But anyway, and this was almost like a catharsis, not a catharsis, maybe catharsis is a word, a cleansing for me, because I was able to look back on things in my life and write it and rewrote my story. So in my book of shadows, in my fictional world, I was able to vanquish the tattooed warlock and move on. It did help me move on. So let me see if I can show y'all another quick here. I'll give y'all this one too. I'm just kind of proud of some of my artwork. So I did borrow some things from other shows such as Supernatural. So I don't think Charmed ever really said what those little bags were. In their entries, they would say things like, put it in a velvet bag. So I borrowed the term hex bags for my Book of Shadows here. But anyway, now on to the spell. I'm going to teach you how, actually I have it right here. I did borrow, everything in here is original, but I did borrow some things just to sort of roll with it. But here's my entry on the Book of Shadows, and I give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rules for keeping a Book of Shadows in here. But this is what I wrote, and I borrowed this little couple of lines from the TV show Salem and an episode of Charmed where they bring Melinda Warren back. So I wrote, some books are to be read, others to be written. Every witch must keep one, a private journal of our spells and potions, our history and experiences. Here's the important part. Sometimes you add to it, other times it teaches you. And this is where we get to the spell. The Bayleaf Banishing spell arose out of this book. After I filled this book up, all 119 pages of it, and what really bothered me was like, I wish this had more pages. I wish I had gotten a bigger journal and kept going with this, because I really like the idea. And maybe a future project will be to get a bigger journal and rewrite all these 120 pages over again and draw the pictures and then add more stuff. But that's way in the future. So anyway, I said, sometimes you add to the book, sometimes it teaches you. So I had a situation, and here where I'm getting to the spell. I had a situation where there was a negative person in my life who I did not want to be in my life anymore. And I know all kinds of banishing spells, you know. You take a human figure candle and you burn it a little bit each day as the moon wanes, and boom, next thing you know, the person's gone. There's all kinds of banishing spells. But I wanted to feel more inspired. So what I did was, and you can try this too with your grimoire when you have it filled up, or I fell back on the ancient art of stitchomancy. And I hear y'all now saying, what is stitchomancy? Well, it's a form of divination, which you may have known as bibliomancy. And that's where you just take a book. It can be your Bible. It can be a dictionary. Those are two things I use. Or it could be your grimoire. And what I did was I focused on my intent, which was I wanted to banish this person. And I just opened it at random with my eyes closed. And I put my finger down on a page. And I looked at it. And the page I landed on, I'm not going to show you this page, but the page I landed on was 13 essential herbs. And the actual herb I landed on was, right, Bayleaf. And for Bayleaf, I wrote, prophetic dreams, wards evil, banishes negativity, makes wishes come true. And those last two things really stuck in my mind. Banishes negativity, makes wishes come true. Well, my wish is to banish this negative person in my life. So that fit on 2 counts. And as I'm sort of meditating on these words, I see the spell in my head, the ritual. So what I did was I took a bay leaf. Oh, here's my bay leaf. I know y'all know what a bay leaf is, but I did pull it down to show you. I took a bay leaf like this one. Oh, it smells good. I took a bay leaf like this one, and I wrote the person's name on the bay leaf. I put their first name above that center dick vein, or whatever you call it, and their last name on the bottom. You don't have to do that anywhere on there, but I'm a Virgo, and I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Wrote the person's name on that bay leaf, and I lit a candle, and I had my cauldron next to the candle, and I held that bay leaf, and I imagined that person just getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until they were just a tiny little dot in my mind. And then that dot went poof and disappeared. And at that point, I took that bay leaf and I put it into the flame of that candle and let it burn. And I chanted a spell to banish that person. I did write it down. Let me see if I can remember it, because I know you are going to want this for your Book of Shadows or your grimoire, or you'll write your own. But I think I said something like, "Spirits of the green, I ask for your aid in this task. As I burn this leaf of bay, please send so-and-so away. Or please banish so-and-so today." It is what it is. And that was probably about a week ago. Today, I got news that that person will no longer be in my circle of my life. They are outside the circle. Anyway, this was just supposed to be a really quick thing to sort of teach you. That's something that you can try with your book when you know, you're looking through your book, you're trying to find something for a situation. Let the book teach you. You know, you put that book information in the book for a reason. Let your ancestors, let your guides help you through your book to find the information that you need. Anyway, that is the Bayleaf banishing spell, and I will see you probably in a couple of days. I got another idea for another video. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but I need to do a little bit more, how should we call it, visual research, examples for you. Anyway, have a good night, everybody.